I basically found a low-level laser company,
Okay.
a therapeutic laser company that was trying to recruit people to pivot the company to a consumer-facing company. Because the reason it doesn't work, because the skin likes it too much. It doesn't share. So whatever would absorb into the skin stays in the skin.
Interesting.
And we pivoted. We made a skincare company out of it. You're not exposed a lot to the sun.
That's true.
You eat well, etc. What we needed to do is to develop the flip side of that, which is stimulation for repair.
We just absolutely adore you and your family and have been so excited to link arms with you for as long as we've had. And so why don't we get started by having you share a little bit about your story. I want to know about yourself, your journey into this health space and how you found yourself where you are now.
Good question. So I think I'm different than most people because at least when I come to a conversation like that with someone who is a kind of journeyman or woman in the healthcare space, I'm expecting to hear a story of hardship, of overcoming some health issues
Sure.
with a specific modality, and that person kind of dedicating their lives to this modality. That's, I think, a very common conversation.
Certainly.
Well, among uncommon people, but it's funny. Like, I don't have this story.
Okay.
So basically, my first career was in the military. I was in Israeli special operations. And after that, you get a lot of interest from tech because what you do well within, by the way, any type of, people might know people who are legit celebrities now in the United States because of them translating what they learned in special operations to the world of business. People like Jocko Willink or Andy Stump that started, I believe he started Black Rifle Coffee or you get recruited to tech because you are supposedly, you know how to build teams that function well within a larger structure or autonomously. And I didn't want to go to tech, which is a huge part of the Israeli economy. It's about 40-50% of the Israeli economy. So obviously that's what most of my friends were going to do. And I discovered I'm a contrarian, again, something that a lot of people within this field would be. And I basically found a low-level laser company,
Okay.
a therapeutic laser company that was trying to recruit people to pivot the company to a consumer-facing company, which you would now know as red light therapy. Back then, it didn't have a name.
Okay.
It didn't have, no one knew what it is. It was a feature within therapeutic laser devices. They usually had an arm with LEDs, but they were very expensive at the time. Basically, it's the time when LEDs became less expensive and there was an opportunity to speak directly to the consumer, which is pretty cool. I mean, a lot of companies in our field, what they started from this small project that was servicing doctors. And then they said, hey, we can take it and speak to the consumer directly and create a much larger impact.
Right.
So that was my first career. I spearheaded the pivoting of that company to a consumer-facing company. And by the way, back then, what we call today like biohacking or health optimization, I called consumer-facing medical devices because if you kind of strip away the supplements and the breath work or mindfulness practices, that's what biohacking is basically.
Right, right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and when this company got sold, I had somewhat heavier pockets and not a lot to do. And I was very interested in NAD, or some people call it NAD IVs. I was doing them myself, but they were very, very, very expensive. So I said, hey, I wonder if we can do the same thing that people do with like testosterone creams.
Sure.
As an example, or obviously a lot of things work like that. I wonder if we could do a transdermal cream that could replace that expensive IV drip.
Right.
And by the way, the answer is no. But when I say By that time, I already was married to my beautiful wife, Anastasia Khojaeva, which is really the brains behind everything. So I only had that idea, but really Anastasia built a company and brought this idea into fruition. We started working with a lab in Israel, which is in the Weizmann Institute, which is like MIT in Israel.
Okay.
And we found out, at the beginning, we found out it doesn't work. Then we found out that you can make lemonade out of those lemons, because the reason it doesn't work, because the skin likes it too much. It doesn't share. So whatever would absorb into the skin stays in the skin.
Interesting.
And we pivoted. We made a skincare company out of it. I would say that further on our R&D journey, we found out, and I think this is something good to take about any therapeutic modality. There is no silver bullet. That's what we found out. We found out that this molecule that is supposed to be at the root of every youthful process, or the culprit of every aging process, didn't provide incredible transformational parent results when applied on the skin. It did, but in some cases, and we needed to find out why. And the cases that it did, it's because there was a signal to repair associated with that. So maybe people that were abnormally exposed to UV radiation beforehand, and their skin was in that inflamed state. Maybe they lived close to a highway and they had a lot of pollution, or they lived their lifestyle exposed a lot to midday sun or something like that. So these kind of people, they applied the NAD product that we had back then, which NAD building blocks, by the way, precursors. They said, wow, my skin looks significantly better than it did before. But the reason was that their skin was trying to deal with something, and it helped it deal with it. So we found out that if we want to take your beautiful skin, and I know you run around conferences, you're not exposed a lot to the sun, you eat well, etc. What we needed to do is to develop the flip side of that, which is stimulation for repair. So the company really kind of has a Jekyll and Hyde type personality, which on one hand, it's molecules that stimulate repair, and most of what we do is then support that repair process.
Okay. Wow. That was information.
I know.
That's fantastic. So it sounds like your journey is a little bit more of a curiosity. You're a very curious person, I think. And what led you from point A to here now is your curiosity about how you can take this molecule and make it work in different solutions. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I think, there is also ego involved. Like I had an idea. I had many ideas when I couldn't kind of act on them. And I saw them succeeding for other people. I actually gave some ideas to other people that now are worth a lot of money. For example, it was my idea to start Uber and Airbnb. I'm kidding, no. But I had some good ideas that I saw succeeding. And I always wanted to have one of my ideas succeed for me. So there's some ego there where, we kind of followed through and to extract, because I knew NAD is going to blow up. Back then, you need to understand, like also when we started with red light therapy, 90% of people, and that's very generous, look at you like a snake oil salesman. And I think, within the CLD community,